Listen, you ever have one of those days where you realize the rules are just suggestions for some people, especially if they're wearing a badge? Yeah, that happened to me. And it all started with the sound of handcuffs clicking shut in some grimy, echoing service corridor at Port City International, the kind of hallway nobody with a clean conscience hangs around in after dark. This cop, older, with that face like he spent a lifetime grinding his teeth, looks at me like I'm an ATM that just started talking back and says, real casual, we can make this real simple. 500 cash to the Port City Police Fund, and all your problems disappear. You know what I mean? That's the opening line to a day you don't forget. The way he said it, half threat, half joke. I could practically taste the contempt, but I didn't say a word, not yet. I just stared, and it wasn't the stare of some scared mark. No, it was the stare of someone cataloging every detail, like I was watching a car crash in slow motion and taking notes for the insurance company. The younger officer next to him, kid barely out of college by the look of it, he's sweating bullets, licking his lips, glancing anywhere but my face. If you saw us from the outside, you'd think I was the one in trouble. Funny how quick that can flip, but let me back up a sec. Because to understand how I ended up in cuffs in a janitor's hallway, you gotta go back a few hours, to 35,000 feet above the Midwest, where I'm sitting in first class, window seat, trying to get through this mind-numbing legal brief on antitrust law. My name's Julian Hayes. Most people would call me successful Harvard Law, decades of busting crooks and defending the innocent, the whole nine. But that day, my mind wasn't on the job. I was heading home, back to Port City, to see my mom in the nursing home. 82, frail, fading, and before I started my next chapter as Attorney General, I just needed to hold her hand. Maybe tell her I loved her while it still mattered. No security detail, no headlines, just me, and a promise to keep things simple for once. I wore a suit, out of habit and respect, the way my mother raised me. Outside, clouds drifted by, and for a second, I wondered if I was really ready to carry the weight of the whole justice system on my back. Power's a funny thing. You can spend a lifetime chasing it, but when you finally get it, you start to see all the cracks nobody tells you about. Meanwhile, on the ground, 2 Port City Airport cops were getting ready for another shift. Frank Rizzo, a lifer with a face like week-old bread, and Mike Calloway, young, eager, and, honestly, just a little too green for this line of work. Rizzo's the type who sees opportunity where the rest of us see trouble. Just keep your eyes open, kid, he tells Calloway, and you can make more than your salary if you know where to look. And by opportunity, he means folks like me, folks traveling alone, looking a little out of place, folks they think won't put up a fight. That's how their system works. Not the one in the rulebook, but the one passed down in whispers over burnt coffee.so when Flight 772 lands. I'm one of the first off. I call my mom, be there in an hour, don't worry, and I'm just following the baggage claim signs, still shaking off jet lag, when I feel a shoulder slam into me. It's Calloway, playing tough, barking at me like I stepped on his dog. I apologize, polite as can be. Rizzo swoops in, all concern and fake warmth, and then the questions start. You look nervous, mister. They check my ID, Julian Hayes. Huh? Suddenly I'm a person of interest in some imaginary investigation, and they want me to come with them for a chat, somewhere private. Now, I could have played the ace in my pocket, told them who I was, ended the whole charade right there. But I wanted to see how deep this rabbit hole went. Sometimes you gotta look the system in the eye, see it at its ugliest, before you can fix it. So I play along. They march me through a door marked, employees only, down a hallway that smells like bleach and stale sweat. Rizzo leans in, open that briefcase. I refuse. He frowns, tells Calloway to cuff me for obstruction. The kid hesitates, but when Rizzo gives the look, he does what he's told. And that's when Rizzo makes his move, the one that started this story. $500 and all this goes away. That's the price of freedom, apparently. I just look at Calloway, right in the eyes, and ask, how old are you, son? 28? You've got your whole life ahead of you. Don't throw it away for this. For a second, you can see the gears turning in his head, like maybe he gets it. But Rizzo laughs it off, pushes harder. Your choice, cash or a night in jail. You pick. So I say, fine, I want my phone call, which by law, Even in their little drama, I'm entitled to. Rizzo, smug, hands me my phone, ready to hear me beg for a lawyer. But I don't call a lawyer. I call a number most people would never know, and when the line picks up, I use a code name. This is the Eagle. Connect me to the Director of Homeland Security, Authentication Sierra November Tango 70. Rizzo's face turns the color of bad milk. When the Secretary of Homeland Security answers, I say, real calm, sir. I am being detained in Terminal B by officers Rizzo and Calloway, badge numbers 714 and 882. They've just attempted to extort me. You could have heard a pin drop. The secretary's reply is ice cold. Hold your position. Back up en route. 3 minutes. That's all it took. Rizzo panics, starts fumbling with the keys. Mr. Hayes, sir, huge misunderstanding. Calloway looks like he's about to cry. Please, I have a family. But I just wait, silent, until the hallway bursts open, and in sweeps a whole team of federal agents and the airport police chief himself, David Chin. It's chaos. The chief, mortified, strips the officers of their badges right there. I tell Agent Miller from the FBI to treat the place as a crime scene, pull the body cam footage, check every complaint filed against those two. This isn't just about me. It's about every traveler who couldn't make that call, every person hustled in a back hallway, threatened, blackmailed, humiliated. I spell it out, so there's no confusion. This is about the trust people put in your badge. You broke it. For you, it ends here. The fallout is instant. Both Rizzo and Calloway get fired within 24 hours. The story goes national not because of me, but because the evidence was so clear, the rot so deep. Turns out, Rizzo had been running this game for years, targeting folks he thought wouldn't fight back. Calloway, young and scared, finally cooperates, admits it all, and the body cam catches everything, the threats, the bribe, the whole ugly playbook. At trial, the judge doesn't hold back. You have turned the honor of your badge into a tool for greed and prejudice, she says. That's unforgivable. Rizzo gets 5 years, 4 months in federal prison, no parole. Calloway gets 3 years for coming clean. That's justice, I suppose, but let me tell you, sitting in my mother's room days later, peeling apples and listening to the news talk about Attorney General Julian Hayes' fight against corruption, it felt hollow. I got justice because of who I am, not just because of what was right. See, the real fight is for all those without names, titles, connections, the ones who can't call in favors or recite codes over secure lines. For them, justice is a lot harder to come by. A badge should be a symbol of trust, not a license to shake folks down in the shadows. But you shine a light on corruption, you call it out for what it is, and maybe, just maybe, you change things for the better. Maybe next time, someone else walks away free, not just the guy with the fancy suit and the friends in high places. So, what do you think? Was that sentence fair, too harsh, or not nearly enough? And more important, what's it going to take to make sure every victim, no matter who they are, gets their shot at justice? Let me hear your thoughts down below, because this isn't just my story, it's ours.